2020 went through some of the toughest times ever in human history. Some of us lost loved ones, some lost jobs, and some even lost a place to call home. As the cure for coronavirus is close to distribution, we witness a record number of new cases and deaths every day in the United States. In this documentary, we will take a look at some of the effects on COVID-19 and mainly its effects on students and educators in the Falls Church area. Me and my partner Fu will show you the information we have acquired in this documentary today, and you'll get to see how unlinked we have truly become. Is this thing on? Hello? Hello, let me get in the light. Hello, I'm Rodney. It's day one of our documentary. My partner's on his way, so I guess you guys will go see me pick him up. Let me put on my shoes. He's here. Oh. Come take the camera.
Alright, let's do
We
this.
started.
I'm not taking it.
The cameraman, you gotta take it. It is recording, because it is day one.
Mom's here?
No, not yet.
Oh, yeah.
But you should be on his way. Food, say hi to the camera. We gotta set up now. Speed montage. Montage over. When the deadly virus hits, the government urges people to stay home and practice social distancing and wear masks, which makes it difficult for people to visit relatives and friends without worrying about catching the virus. But with technology, that fixes the problem. One of the forms of communication we want to take a closer look at is social media. In a survey conducted by Digital Commons 360, 72% out of 4,500 respondents said their social media consumption increased during the pandemic. And why was that? Almost everyone would say to connect with friends. The one platform that keeps a lot of people occupied is Facebook. According to Statista, 78% of adults said they used Facebook the most during the pandemic, outperforming Instagram standing at second with 49%. As we are being occupied at home, we rely more on technology to keep us entertained and busy in these troubled times. Do you think you use electronic devices more in the pandemic or before the pandemic?
I'd say just a bit more.
Yes, for sure. I think I use my phone about the same, but I'm not as involved with people in person. So that used to be what kept me off my phone or like my laptop or whatever. And now the only way I can be like involved and around people is pretty much through electronics.
Oh yes, definitely.
Definitely more. As you know, we've relied on electronic devices for school to a much greater degree, and I've found the need to rely on technology to communicate with students and also to organize my own work as I prepare for classes.
Yeah, I'd say I use it more often. School used to restrict me from doing things, and I'd have people in person, but now because there's nothing else, I'd say I use my electronics a lot more. If I can rank my top three, I would say Instagram, YouTube, and Netflix.
What apps do I use the most? Okay, on my mobile device, take a look. I look at weather apps. I look at like sports apps like ESPN. I'll check that out. I use Spotify a lot. I like to listen to podcasts. I use Google and Safari to do searching. And then I use one that's called 7. It's like an exercise app. I do that. But mostly on my mobile device. I use it to do email and to look things up on the internet and all that kind of stuff. I don't do social media really, and I don't really do any kind of games or entertainment other than listen to music and podcasts on my mobile device.
TikTok and Netflix.
Let's see. Okay, so Discord, Hangouts, and Instagram. Yeah, but I'm not really a big social media guy. I only post when I feel like something cool happened.
One app that probably won't come as a surprise would definitely be like TikTok. Is a big one. I use that one pretty often. Also, I've been a bit more active on like Netflix and YouTube and just finding different content that I want to reach out to and like learn about. As for social medias, I haven't really been using those anymore. If anything, I've been using them less since things can get a bit messy on there now. But yeah, definitely TikTok, the biggest one.
Is this thing on? Ooh, might be. Okay, this is the day 2 vlog. What time is it? It's like, yeah, it's 3:37. Me and Fu are about to start the day 2 virtual interviews. Because it's virtual, we decided to do it separately. So Fu's right there on the computer. If you can see him, yeah, you can see him. So hopefully this goes well. We'll see you guys in the after if we film one. Okay. But despite having to stay inside all day, school is still an important factor in teens' life. Because of social distancing, we cannot participate in physical school. Rather, we participate in virtual learning. Virtual learning is a completely different environment than the traditional way of learning in person. According to ABC News, 42% of students in Houston, Texas received at least one F in the first semester. It is still a problem today. However, falling behind isn't a concern for some students. This is completely understandable. With the freedom aspect that virtual learning brings and the amount of work seems to decrease, students are likely to be on their phones during class rather than participating. Teachers have expressed their concerns for students and hope that students' interactions will grow up. With all being said, almost everyone wanted to go back to the traditional way, but will COVID allow that? Would you like to go back to in-person school or continue virtual learning?
In-person school.
So, I think for the sake of my learning, I feel like we should go back in person because, and like, I'm being honest, it's kind of hard for me to like stay in the classroom, like focused, when like a video game or a video or like my friends that I'm talking to are like one click away, you know what I mean? So I feel like being in school and being in person will just like bring me back to what school would or has to be. Yeah.
Oh, definitely I would want to go back to in person. There's so much more spontaneity, and as a teacher, I am able to observe so much better what students are learning and interact, and students I think pick up much more on cues, visual cues, in the classroom environment from each other as well as from the teacher, that helps them to learn better.
I miss kind of all like the funny little things. Like I miss seeing you guys interact with each other. I miss hearing like whatever the new slang word is that everybody's using. I miss the excitement before a football game or a homecoming or a spirit week or whatever it is that's going on. And I even, we're coming into winter break. I kind of miss that buzz. Like the week before, you're like, oh man, I can't wait for break. And you get really excited about, the upcoming change to the schedule. I kind of miss all that too. But I think that the biggest thing I miss is just hearing students in the building, in the hallways, just going up throughout the various parts of your day.
Absolutely. It's causing a lot of students to fall behind. I think that no matter what was going to happen, the students who were good, self-motivated, and intrinsically motivated students were going to do fine anyway because they're good students and they want to do well. But I think that it's made it much easier for mediocre students, average students, and bad students to continue being average and bad students. I've spoken to a lot of my students that will engage with me. The fact that many of them don't engage is definitely a problem. There's a lot that just log in because they want to not get the robocall, I guess, or they want their attendance to be good. But as far as any kind of engagement or any work completion, it's far less than it usually would be. I just think that there's a lot of students who need the in-person kind of support they get in a regular school, and when they're left to learn independently and individually, there's all sorts of reasons why students are not being successful.
Well, you know what I'm going to say. Get them back in school. I think there's nothing, it's so extraordinary a situation. I don't believe there's anything we could do that would make virtual and being alone and isolated any more palatable or any better for them. I suspect anecdotal evidence that students are really suffering, with, some will tell me in advisory, especially, but I suspect even more mental illness, depression, anxiety, loneliness. I don't think there's any way we can make this a decent option. It's just not. I say we need to get to school.
There have been some articles in the paper recently saying that distance learning is very hard on poor students and students with disabilities. How is FCHS trying to help these students?
Yeah, it's definitely, it definitely comes with a lot of challenges. Some things that we've done, we have MiFis that are available, which it's a little hotspot device to help students who don't have a good internet connection at home. We've also worked with a couple of internet providers locally to provide internet service at a discounted rate to try to help families out. Falls Church has a meal distribution center, so people can come every day, Monday through Friday, to pick up meals, breakfast and lunch to help. And we also have been working with some of the local organizations to donate items like coats and warm winter gloves and clothing to families. And we also have a bunch of teachers who have volunteered to pass out food boxes to families, and they go once a week and drop off some food items to help.
Hello, it's day 3. Today's a day we're organizing the footage for the film, the interview footage. It should be a crisp day. Got my stuff playing. I guess you pass me over. Okay. COVID-19 is a new strain of coronavirus that previously had not been identified in humans. The origin of this new virus was rumored to be in a seafood market in Wuhan, China. On December 31st, 2019, we witnessed the first reported case. Since then, we have lost more than 334,000 lives in the United States and over 1 million people worldwide. COVID continues to be the main problem as we go into 2021, and we hope that the cure will be distributed soon. When was the first time you heard of COVID?
So my first time I heard of COVID were around January, like the beginning of January, and when there was the first reported case in Wuhan, that's when I heard of it.
Were you afraid of it?
No, not really. I know that it'll get worse, but I know that I don't know. I just don't feel scared.
Probably December, November of 2019, and it was more of just a joke. And there were like a bunch of memes and social media posts about, oh no, COVID, like, oh, this terrifying thing. And then it actually hit the US, and like people are still joking about it, like, oh, like one person in our school needs to get it and then we can shut the thing down for a few weeks. And everyone was so excited, like, no school, it's a break, it's gonna be awesome. And then the break never ended and now it's terrible.
The first time I heard of COVID, I think, was mid-February last year when things in China were starting to get bad, and I read about it in the news. That, and I'm not sure if Mrs. Jones shared with you, but my sister is an emergency doctor in Washington, D.C., and she and I had some early conversations about the virus.
I was hanging out with friends.
I like going out and hiking. I've got 2 grown sons, and we're in the habit of, hopping in the car on a weekend when we can and finding trails out in the mountains and going hiking for the day. So I miss doing that. I've got a newborn granddaughter and a grandson who's about 1 year old, and although I see him, my wife and I spend time with our grandchildren. We don't see them as much as we'd like to, basically because of the virus. So that's something that I miss too.
Just going to places where it's not closed. Like, some of my favorite restaurants and shops are closed, and I just, like, for example, Chula and Mosaic, that's closed, and I haven't been able to get a good bite ever since.
Being able to be outside and be carefree. Like, I feel like right now, like, I hear someone coughing, I'm like, like, get away from me. Or like, I have to, like, I'm way more conscious of, like, am I washing my hands? Am I putting hand sanitizer on? Like, am I staying away from people? Because, like, at least, like, when I'm with someone that I feel comfortable with, like, I'm not about to be, like, stay away from them. Like, naturally, I'm like, oh, what's up? Trying to get closer to them, like, talking to them. I feel like, I'm much more conscious about, like, how I carry myself and how I, like, just touch things and do things around when I'm outside. Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I think we've been forced to. So this is the flip side. It's great being with people, and we're social animals, but we can't be with people all the time. We have to. Otherwise, I feel like we're just running from ourselves. It has given us time to slow down and meditate on things, and maybe even do some things that we hadn't done before. Like, for me, I started painting with watercolors, which is a very forgiving art for newcomers if you know if you've done it. But we've had a lot more time to consider things and think about things. So I think it's a blessing in that way. We've slowed down. Maybe we appreciate things more.
Most definitely. Although at first sight it definitely looks like a really, really, really bad thing. And I'm not saying that the virus itself or the conditions or what it has done is great or anything like that. But the benefits that have come out of it, I think for a lot of people like myself who have a busy schedule and didn't really give themselves enough time to kind of reflect on how they were really feeling or anything. It definitely gave them a breath of fresh air, I think. Yeah. So, because I think we had that one period where it was like a month where we didn't have school at all, when our district was just figuring out a solid plan. So I think in that short amount of time, a lot of people found out, what do I want to be doing right now? What do I want to do with myself? Where do I want to go? Who do I want to be? So I think of it as a time of reflection for a lot of people.
It sucks. It's tiring. It makes you really just not in the mood for most stuff. But it could be worse. It's not great, but we can get through it. I think. I feel like we can definitely get through it all eventually.
Oh, it sucks. I'm sick of it. I had no idea it was going to last this long. It makes my job much harder to do. It makes it much harder for students to be successful, and that adds a whole lot of stress. And frankly, I'm not looking forward to the holiday break the way that I would be, because that would usually be a couple weeks where I didn't have to go into work and I could just kind of stay at home and enjoy a couple weeks at home with the family and everything. But I've been doing that since March for the most part, so it's not like anything, too special. And so I'm just sick of COVID. I want this thing to be over with.
I feel like it's a wake-up call, because I think Bill Gates. I was gonna say Bill Nye. Jeez, no, Bill Gates. He was literally with how we are right now. We could not handle a worldwide pandemic, and he told us that. No one really listened. I remember watching that video before the pandemic, and I was like, it doesn't matter. So I feel like this one is showing us that we need to find ways to slow the spread, and that we need to find ways to or at least we need to be more conscious about the way that we are with diseases.
Yeah, my thoughts on COVID as a whole is I think it's really important. I know people are really tired of being locked down and stuck at home and not having normal life, but please wear a mask. Please wash your hands. Please don't take a risk if you don't need to. And if your health and safety feels like something that you can't imagine or see, please think about all of the doctors and the healthcare workers that are on the front lines and they don't have a choice. They're going to work every day. They're risking their lives and they're risking the lives of their families. And they're doing it because they feel like they should. So wear a mask and be safe and take care of each other.
Mental health may be one of the largest impacts COVID-19 has done to the human race. We as humans need interactions to feel normal. That seems to be an impossible task during this time, especially for teenagers. A study found that 80% of adolescent girls are feeling more isolated and lonely than ever. And these numbers don't stop according to KFF. 53% of adults feel that their mental health has been impacted in a bad way during this pandemic. It has become more stressful to keep up relationships and other important things they need in their own life. But there isn't only bad impacts. There are some positives. People believe that they have more time due to COVID-19, and these times are valuable. Many discover new hobbies, be more appreciative, and they value connections they had with people they care about. But everyone's story is different. How do you think this pandemic affected your mental health? Do you say you feel lonely now that you have to stay at home all the time?
Not really. No.
No, I'm not lonely. I've got my two kids here with me all the time. Um, so no, I do not feel lonely. As a matter of fact, my wife and I, we actually went out last night and did a little shopping and stuff, and got away from the kids for a little bit, which was nice. So no, I'm the opposite of lonely. I'm kind of feeling like I would like to have some quiet and alone time.
Yeah, before I could talk to people, fill up my energy, but now I'd have to like look for people online. Most of the time I just sit alone, and it's lonely.
Most definitely, definitely. Because even though I know that I have a community and I've surrounded myself with people that I know like love me and care for me and such, especially now when the safest thing you can do is stay away from people, and that can definitely be hard for people, who have to see counselors or therapists and that kind of mental resource. It's just really easy to sink back into that like sort of slump that I think most people were in March, of just there's no one around me, like what am I supposed to do with myself now?
I guess yeah. I had to quit the wrestling team because of COVID, and I feel like I've kind of been more detached to my friends in the wrestling team ever since. Yeah.
I feel like in the start it did. Very much, because, well, I mean, okay, so, never mind. Around the start it was fine, right? Because I would just, like, my friends and I would just, like, stay home and play video games a bunch, But, like, after a while, and, like, I feel like this happened with a lot of people, as, like, COVID, like, spread and, like, time passed by, people got less and less nervous about it. So like for a long time, like my friends were going outside without me, and I feel like that definitely affected like my friendships and my relationships, because like now I'm being excluded out, or not intentionally by my friends of course, but like I'm not with my friends, the people that I care about, and I feel like that definitely affected our relationships.
Yeah, I do. I think it made a lot of my relationships stronger, just from realizing that you need people to talk to when bad things are happening. And then it made me really grateful to have both my parents around, to have my sister around, to have my friends around. It made me really grateful that I have people that I can reach out to, when times are tough.
We see a lot of changes in the past few months in the world. Would you say we're heading in the right direction or the wrong direction?
I think the wrong direction.
I hate to say this, but I really don't think we're heading in the right direction, because from what I've been seeing on the news, cases have been spiking up, and I just hopefully, maybe in the few months before our graduations, cases do go down, and then, I'll actually be able to have a graduation.
It's hard to say. It's really hard to say. I can't speak for the entire world. Obviously, I think that this country is extremely divided, and I think this country is heading in the wrong direction. Let me just say it this way: there is a lack of leadership in this country, and there has been for a long time. And I'm hoping that will change soon. But I have a feeling that even that's not going to change so much, because I think there's real divisions in this country. And I just think the way that the country has reacted to COVID has been an indication of that. I mean, just wear a mask. It's that easy. And if that message had been communicated from the beginning, things would be better. And also, if you had people who didn't only think in terms of what they want to do all the time and said, I'm going to wear a mask because it's better for my community, because I'm going to think about others more than I think about myself. I think that would be good. And so maybe at the end of the day, we'll have to see the long-term results, but maybe something like this will make people see that they have things in common, that the whole world is dealing with it, and that, and that something that starts in one part of the world isn't necessarily just going to be there. A lot of people tend to think that we shouldn't pay attention to what's going on there because that's there and this is here, without realizing that the distance between there and here is definitely shrinking a lot faster. And maybe that'll be one of the positive byproducts. But at this point, you know, I don't think this country's reacted to this very well.
I'm pretty neutral when it comes to that topic. Um, I said that we're seeing a lot of movement out there in the world, and that's a good thing. But there corruption everywhere, and we still need to fix a lot of things in the world. So I'm neutral.
It's like a split in the middle. Some people are going to the right direction, some people are going to the wrong. It's just people's mindsets are just so different that it just makes us split down the middle, and we're going to need to pick a side.
We have seen a lot of changes in the world. Some of them I think we're headed in the right direction, and some of them I don't think we're headed in the right direction. So we've seen a lot happen where people are calling on each other to get along better and be more united and to care more about each other. And that I think is a much needed change and a move in the right direction. And then we've also seen on the same side some more divisive language, especially in the political news. And that I think is a move in the wrong direction. So that's something that I hope will change for us.
I'd say we're going in the right direction. We're putting more stricter laws in on the pandemic, but there's also like people are also kind of ignoring some of them. There have been big spikes in COVID cases and deaths. I feel in like the past few months than normal. And I feel like that's just due to like the holidays are coming up and people want to meet their families. So yeah, the government's doing their best to contain it. They're putting regulations, but it's just some people need to like want to visit family, friends for other reasons. So yeah, I feel like it's about even.
Um, I think we're going where we expected to go. I think we're going in the right direction, but slowly, and it's a real give and take. Like we'll take 3 steps forward and then one backwards. Um, like we were doing really good, things were opening back up, and then Halloween happened, and people were partying, having Halloween parties, right? And then Thanksgiving, and people are visiting family, and then now it's gonna be Christmas, and people are gonna visit family, and then New Year's, and people are gonna be partying, and I think this set from like October, the end of October until probably like mid January is just going to be a mess and the cases are still going to increase. But people predicted that because, I mean, tendencies, like everyone has their traditions and just COVID or not, some people still stick to them. So, but I do think we're getting vaccines. People are being more cautious. People are trying, I think, for the most part.
Um, I think obviously just like any other question, things vary, but going where my mind went in which way we're kind of going in terms of like our political progress when it comes to like our government and racial injustice and misogyny and toxic masculinity and all those kinds of things. I think society, when it comes to that, um, is definitely heading in maybe not the right way, but definitely a better way than before. Because things can always change. People can always develop more and more problems. I don't think there's ever going to come a day when that doesn't come up. But we're definitely heading in a better place than before because I feel like for example, if we take into account like Black Lives Matter, they're making significant progress. They're in the media. Politicians are talking about it. Celebrities are talking about it. Influencers are talking about it. And not just talking, but like donating and like being more active in it and doing what they can to support it. Rather than, I think, if you look back, like 5 years or so, people knew it was there, but it was kind of just like a known secret. Everyone knew it was there, but nobody really wanted to talk about it. So I think we're definitely heading in a better way, but there's still a lot that needs to get done.
Well, That's a very hard question. I feel like we're headed in the right direction to like making ourselves more conscious about diseases and how we should control them and how we should be around them. I feel like we're going in the right way. At least I am, because I feel like I'm not the only person who's come up with the lesson that I talked about earlier, that like I want to carry meaning with the interactions that I have with people in person. So I mean, I definitely think that we're headed in the right direction, or at least like my optimistic mindset wants me to say that. Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to answer it in a political manner, but I see that I think, then this might be regardless of who's in charge, but of every country and so on. But I see that, I mean, things are definitely going to get better soon.
On balance, I think we're heading in the right direction. You know, I think I'm hopeful that this time next year, this pandemic will be essentially behind us. We will have, hopefully, you know, people will be healthier and back to work, and the economy will hopefully be, you know, coming back. It's going to take a while, I believe, for our economy to fully recover, but I think we're resilient and we'll start to do that with the right leadership. I am concerned, and I say this as a citizen and as a government teacher, I am concerned that Congress, a divided Congress, is going to be less than effective in helping the economy come back. I'm afraid of a lot of partisanship and a lot of obstruction going on with a Republican Senate and a Democratic House. And I can see that potentially slowing down our recovery and hurting our democracy. I'm hopeful that things won't be that way, but if the past is any indicator, the recent past is any indicator, you know, the government needs to change dramatically.
1, 2, 3. Hello, viewers. My name is Fu Ha. I'm the director, writer, producer, and cinematographer of Unlinked. On my right, I believe, is Rodney Cobbs. He is the editor, producer, all the stuff for Unlinked. We want to thank you so much for watching this documentary. We didn't expect to make one this long or even make one at all. I don't have anything special to say other than thank you for watching. I'm going to hand the mic over to my buddy Rodney. Go ahead, Rod.
First, I would like to say this was a very hardworking group right here, the two of us. 2 months almost
And
straight
two-man show.
of filming, editing, setting up, just us two. And it was honestly really fun. And I'd be very happy if this works out to try another one. But this was definitely a very fun experience, and I hope you enjoyed the last 40 minutes or so of film. But this being our final message, I want you to hope you grab the real message we wanted to portray through this, and is that everyone's different, but some things
and
we need to work with each other to beat this.
Yeah. Before we end it here, I want to thank you once again to the amazing student and teacher, and including our dear assistant principal, Ms. Lehman, for agreeing to this. No, I didn't expect anyone to reply to our message, to be honest. And our special thanks to Ms. Jones for helping us reach out to at the incredible teacher of Fortress High School, and I don't have anything else to say. So,
Well, as we are relaying our final messages, we feel it'd be best if you were able to see everyone else's final messages as well. So I hope you enjoy the final messages of everyone we've interviewed.
Is there anything else you would like to share with the audience?
Don't take people for granted. Don't do that. Yeah, I feel like that's it.
Just let this be over. Put on a mask, wash your hands, stay inside. The quicker it's over, the quicker we can go back to doing what we were.
I want the audience to know that this it's time to move on with our differences and doing what's best for our children and what's best for our species and what's best for their future. Just move on. And cut.
Yeah, take care of yourselves. If you see this when the virus is still on, wear a mask, listen to the doctors, take good care of yourself and each other, stay well, and keep your heads up.
I would want to say, coming from my standpoint as somebody who was really busy, an older sister, the oldest child in the family, and somebody who kind of has to share a room with a younger sibling, it is hard, and saying that it's going to get easier soon would probably be a lie to most of you, but as long as you can see something to look forward to, something to push forward for, and if not for somebody else or something else for yourself, definitely just take some time for yourself, reflect, and it's gonna be a while for things to go back to our normal, but someday we'll get there.
To the people who are suffering from COVID, stay strong, hang in there. I know it's rough and it can feel kind of soul draining, but you can get through it. It's manageable, I feel like.
I don't know. I think probably that you just gotta enjoy the little moments, and I think a lot of people are learning that, but it's emphasized more, and I would want to emphasize it because things are going to be crappy and things suck, and being home alone, nobody wants to do it, and everyone wishes things could go back to how they were, but they can't. You have to accept it. You have to accept how it is. Like, you can improve it and you can try to make the best of every situation, but like, you can't, like, in my position as a 17-year-old, I'm not going to make COVID go away. I'm not going to make it disappear. I'm not going to heal every single person. I'm not God. So I just kind of have to face the facts, and like, I know I'm not learning anything this year school-wise. That's fine. I mean, I could if I paid attention, but either way, I've accepted what is, and so I'm just trying to focus on the future and look forward to when things do go back to normal-ish, and when I start attending college, and yeah.
Nothing I can think of. Go see Nomadland.
there you go.
Drew recommended it, so go see it when you can. Be safe, No, I think that's it. Unless you have something more.
No, I was about to say if I get paid, I'll split for promotion. I'll
Yes,
split it with
please. Remember, they have a very low budget, though.
Oh, don't worry. I'll take like a few dollars.
Yeah, I just want to say that on a whole, I'm really, really impressed with the students at Falls Church and what you guys are doing. In a situation that none of us ever could have imagined even a year ago, I see kids showing up for class. I see you guys posting stuff on your social media. I see you guys trying to relate with your teachers, doing things like this for your clubs and your projects. And I'm just really, really impressed with the resiliency that I see. So I think that you guys are awesome. And I'm really glad that you are the future generation, because I think you're going to make the world a much better place.
Hang in there, think about others, take care of yourselves, and I see the light at the end of the tunnel. I think get vaccinated as soon as you can, and let's get back to things being as normal as possible.
Try to stay home, wear your masks, sanitize, twitch.tv/cryox.